Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Think Future podcast. I'm your host, Chris Kalabukas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. You know, when you're trying to get teams to collaborate, when you're trying to get people to align, when you're trying to get people to agree on something, a lot of times I think to myself, how do we even do this? How can we possibly get people to agree with things when the reality is that everyone is literally living in their own reality? It's pure chance and fluke that we can actually take two people who are in completely separate realities and get them to collaborate and get them to work together. Can't imagine like 8, 10, 20, 30 people, whatever the size of your project team is. So I heard this on Scott Adams, and I forget exactly what he was talking about, but basically he said that we are not the same people we were when we were younger, right? I mean, you've read that thing in popular, I don't know if it's even real or not, that all of our cells renew themselves once every 7 years. Once every 7 years, we become a completely new person, completely rejuvenated. We have completely new cells. Right? Sorry, I hit the mic there. Didn't mean to do that. Completely new cells. We're completely different people. We are not the same people that we were 7 years ago. And if you think about it, mentally, physically, culturally, whatever, we are not the same people we were as teenagers. We are not the same people we were as 20-somethings. We are not the same people. We're not the same people now that we were. Right? So not only are we not the same people that we were, we're also living our own reality. And this is where, even though I mostly disagree with intersectionality, the reality is that we are all living our own individual reality that we have created based on the inputs of our senses. My reality is not your reality. Your reality is not my reality. We are all living completely different, independent realities from each other. Right? Even people who are close, even couples who are close, no matter who you are, every individual human is living a completely different reality. So, no wonder we have a tough time agreeing on things. No wonder we have a tough time collaborating on things, because we all have different visions of the world. We all have completely different visions of the world, or we all have similar visions of the world, but they're all off to some degree. And getting people to align those visions is incredibly difficult. And that's why it's so difficult to manage people. That's why it's so difficult to foster collaboration. That's why it's so difficult to build teams. That's why it's so difficult to align. But the reality of the situation is that you can get over that, because you can align visions based on common goals. And this is what I was saying in one of the previous chapters, or the previous video blogs, is that if you take into account that everyone on your team is a human being, and I'm assuming they're human beings, I don't know if you have any dogs or cats or other animals on your team, I'm assuming they're all human, and they all have, they're all adults, they're all professionals, they all know what they're doing. What you do is you have to assume that they're going to have completely different ways of solving a problem, completely different ways of doing things. So you let them bring their reality into the situation, into the collaborative space, and let their reality help you solve the problem. It's kind of like one of the reasons why diversity and inclusion is so important, because you have all these different points of view coming together to come up with new solutions. But it's not necessarily physical attributes or mental attributes or gender attributes in diversity that are important. It's diversity of opinion. And the reality is, everybody is very different from each other. Even kids who grew up together in the same household, even couples who are super close, everyone has their own reality. And that is what's beautiful about pulling together collaboration in teams. Because when you can get teams to put their realities together and build new products and new services and new interesting innovative things out of these shared realities, then you're really seeing something awesome. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.